Hello students, today we discuss about the anatomical details of the cycas root. In previous video we discussed about the external morphology of and systematic position of the cycas. So in cycas plant there are two types of the roots, tap roots and the corollary roots. So the anatomical details we will discuss about first of all in taproot system. So this is the figure or the transverse sections of the root. In that you have to see the outer layer is the epiblema. On that there is the root hairs. Then next to the epiblema some parenchymatous cells. In that some starch cells and spherophytes are there, and at the inner the ring which is the at the center there is the still is present. So let's discuss the one by one part in the anatomical structures of the cycas. So first is the epiblema. So epiblema, it is same like the epidermis. So in roots it is called as the epiblema. So epiblema, it is outermost layer and it is the single layer. That's why it is called the uniserial. And the cells of this epiblema are the barrel-shaped cells and they are compactly arranged. Some epidermal outgrowth you have to see on this epiblema layer, that is the root hairs. So the functions of this epiblema layer is the protection as well as the absorptions of the water as well as minerals. Then second part in the anatomical structure of the cycas is the cortex. So this cortex region is next to the epiblema and it is broad region. It is made by the multi-layers. In that the parenchymatous cells are loosely arranged and in that some intercellular places are present. These cells are also contains the starch and spherophytes, tannins, pigments. So this is about the cortex region. Then next to the cortex region is the stele region. So stele region is the central part of the cycas roots. So in the stele is made up by the endodermis, pericycles and vascular elements. So let's see the details about that stele. So first of all, endodermis. Endodermis, it is the outermost layer of the stele and it is innermost layer of the cortex. The endodermis, it is uniseriate, single layer. In that the cells are barrel shaped and they are compactly arranged. Then next to the endodermis, the pericycles is present. So pericycles, it is the it is also which contains the biseriate cells and they are barrel shaped. These cells are comparatively smaller than the endodermis layer. Then next to the pericycle, the vascular elements are present. Vascular element, that means the xylem and phloem. So in these young roots of the cycas shows the in the stele they shows the two arcs of the xylems which are alternate to the two arc of the phloem. That's why this arrangement of the vascular elements are called as the diarch conditions. Then these xylems, in that protoxylems and metaxylems are there. So these metaxylems are present towards the center and protoxylem present towards the periphery. So the development of the xylem is from periphery to the center. So that type of condition is called as the exarch condition. So in this is regarding the vascular elements. In that two arc of xylem which is alternate with the two arc of phloem. So the condition is the diarch condition, and in that the protoxylem is towards the periphery and metaxylem towards the center. That's why it is the exarch. So this is all regarding the anatomical details or transverse sections of the young root of cycas plant. In that, regarding the anatomical structures of this young cycas root shows three parts: epiblema, cortex and stele. Epiblema, it is outer layer, then cortex is the middle, and stele at the center part of the cycas root. In stele, again it contains the three parts: endodermis, pericycles and vascular element. In vascular elements, most important, that is two arc of xylem, which is alternate with the two arc of phloem. So the condition is the dire, and the protoxylem are present towards the periphery and metaxylem present towards the center. That's why that condition is called as the exarch. So these are some important characters regarding the young roots of the cycas plant. Next is about the corollary roots. So as I already told you, these cycas plants contain two types of roots, the tap roots and corollary roots. So let's see about the anatomical details of the corollary roots. So this is the transverse sections of the corollary root. I just enlarge it. So in that, there is the outer periderm, then in cortex there is the starch cells, spheraphyte cells, some algal zones. In that, nostoc colonies are there, some tannin cells are present. Then in the stele there is the endodermis, pericycles, xylems and phloem strands. So let's discuss first of all the periderm layer. So periderm layer is the outermost layer which made by the cork cells, and it is multi-layered. The cells will be hard and isodiametric. Its function is the protection. Then next to the periderm there is the cortex region. So cortex region, it is the multi-layered and broad region which is made by the parenchymatous cells, which is loosely arranged. These cells contains the starch, some few cells of spheraphytes, tannins. Also in that zones, the middle of the cortex contains the algal zone. As you already discussed with you, these symbiosis will be seen in these corollary roots. So there is the algal colonies are present in that region. So in the middle of the cortex, the algal zone is there. That means in that zone the nostoc colonies are there. Then the third important part in the corollary root, that is the stele. So stele is the central part. This contains the endodermis, pericycles and vascular element. Same like the young roots. So endodermis layer is the outermost layer which is uniseriate. They are having the barrel shaped cells, and these cells will be compactly arranged. Pericycle region, it is the next to the endodermis. It is made by the biseriate and the cells will be barrel shaped. Then third part or the central part of this root is the vascular element. So vascular elements are the xylems and phloem. In that condition, or in the vascular elements, the three arches of xylems are alternate with the three arc of the phloem. Hence, this arrangement is called as the triarch. As you seen in the young roots, in young roots there is the two arc of xylems and two arc of phloem. That's why which is called as the diarch. In here, in corollary root, here is the three arc of xylems and three arcs of phloems are there. That's why it is called as the triarch. Then the next characters will be same regarding the development of the xylem. In that, metaxylem is present towards the center and protoxylem towards the periphery. Hence, the xylem arrangement is called as the exarch condition. That means the xylems will be developed from periphery to the center. So this is regarding the corollary root. Then next is about the old cycas root. So in that old cycas root, The outer layer is the peridot. Then in cortex region, some starch cells, then spirophyte cells, tannin cells are there. In the stele, there is the endodermis, pericycles. But here is the development of secondary phloem, secondary xylem, and vascular cambium. So the peridot, which is same like the young roots and corollary root, that means it is outermost layer made by the cork cells, which are these cells are the hard isodiametric and they functions as a protection. Then cortex region, which is made by the multilayers, which contains some starch cells, spirophyte cells, tannin cells, and in this region made by the parenchymatous cells, which are loose layering. Then in the stele, that is central part, which is made by the endodermis, pericycle and vascular elements. Endodermis, which is outermost layer made by the single layer and cells at the barrel shape. Pericycle, it is next to the endodermis, which is biseriate barrel shaped cells, and they are somewhat smaller in size as compared to the endodermis. Then the vascular elements, in that xylem and phloem are there, but here is the change in the presence of the vascular cambium. So the vascular cambium is more or they produce or they gives more secondary xylem inside and less secondary phloem the outside. So these are the somewhat modifications or somewhat changes will be takes place in the vascular element. So in old cycas root shows vascular cambiums, and these vascular cambiums will added more numbers of secondary xylem towards the inside and less numbers of the secondary phloem towards the outside. So this is the conditions which are observed in the old root. So today's videos we have discussed about the anatomical details about the young roots, corollary roots and the old root of the cycas plants.